up, you guys? Welcome back to another one. If you're new to the channel, I am Gold Penning. I do new car, truck, SUV reviews on YouTube, and today we're in the brand new 2024 Nissan Leaf, courtesy of Younger Nissan in Frederick, Maryland. For more information on their inventory, please feel free to check out the link in the description box below. So we are in this one today because this, according to Nissan, may be the final year for the Nissan Leaf, and this is a very affordable electric vehicle as well. This one actually starts at under $30,000, so that is very impressive. And of course, with it being an EV, you don't have to worry about high gas prices either. So ultimately in this video, we will be testing out and going over everything about this one, from acceleration to braking, steering feel, ride quality, sound system, exhaust clip, all that fun stuff. So having said all of that, what do you guys say? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, let's start with pricing. So as you can imagine, there are a couple different trim levels for the 2024 Leaf. First one being the S trim level, which is the one I reviewed last year, starting at $28,140, which by the way is a modest $100 bump from the previous model year. Then there is the SV Plus, which is the one we are in today, starting at $37,285. But as you can imagine, with those two different trim levels, there are two different power plants available for the Leaf as well. First one belonging to that S trim level, that one is powered by a 40 kilowatt electric motor, putting out 147 horsepower, 236 pound-feet of torque, sent to the front wheel. 0 to 60 time, approximately 7.4 seconds, with a range coming in at 149 miles. 0 to 80% charge, in case you were interested, comes in approximately 1 hour. So it's going to take you approximately an hour to charge to 80% from 0. But so then there is that other power plant, of course, belonging to the SV Plus that we have today. That one is powered by a 60 kilowatt electric motor, putting out 214 horsepower, 250 pound-feet of torque. Again, power sent to the front wheel. 0 to 60 time, approximately 6.5 seconds, so about a whole second quicker there, with a range coming in at 212 miles for this particular configuration. So now that I've got all of that out of the way, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and find a straightaway. Let's put our SV Plus Leaf here to the test, and let's see how quickly we can get this one here up to speed. All right, kind of from a rolling start, here go. It's so quiet. You probably can't even tell that I was going fast there, but this thing is so quiet, and I was skidding there a little bit at the get-go, and that's because of the instant torque with any electric vehicle. It's power on demand, basically. So randomly, when you just hit the gas, it just launches you, dude. It is fun. It doesn't seem like that quick of a car, and in a gasoline-powered car, this kind of power wouldn't be that exciting, but in an electric car, it's a completely different experience. That is why electric cars are so much fun to drive like this one. But anyways, to go along with that acceleration, as always, braking is equally important. So as you would expect, there are four-wheel ventilated disc brakes coming standard. As far as that 60-0 stopping distance goes, that comes in at a very respectable 121 feet. Typically for that braking number, it ranges between like 110 and 140. So 121, that is perfectly fine. So as far as braking feel goes, I did want to mention there is a e-pedal drive button. So it's the one pedal drive. Essentially, a lot of electric cars have that. That button's located just in front of the shifter. What that does, essentially allows you to let off the gas, and it basically comes to a complete stop for you if you wanted it to, I should say. So that is a pretty cool feature that, like I said, a lot of electric cars have. Not all of them have that though. So, and you don't have to put it in that mode if you prefer actually using the brakes, but if you do use that, it's definitely going to save you on some brake pads and resurfacing rotors and all that stuff, because I'm not actually hitting the brakes here at all, and I'm coming to a complete stop. There it is, complete stop. Love it. So I love the one pedal drive mode personally, and I am glad that Nissan put that on the Leaf. But anyways, then touching on suspension and handling, up front you're going to get an independent strut type front suspension. In the back, torsion beam rear axle, of course, front and rear stabilizer bars. As far as ride quality goes, it's actually been perfectly fine in my short little test drive here today. So I personally have had no complaints. So it's definitely absorbing the road imperfections here in Frederick quite nicely. So I like that. As far as cabin noise goes, again, one of those things with electric cars, it is super quiet because you don't have that gasoline powered engine or exhaust noises or anything like that coming into the cabin. So it is a pretty serene cabin, quite honestly. I do have the air conditioning on right now because it's hot out today, but other than that, it's excellent. As far as steering feel goes, it is a little bit on the looser side of things. I will say that. Wouldn't have minded if they firmed up the steering feel a little bit, kind of like Tesla does with all their steering feels, but it'll get the job done. I don't have any issues. Kind of just feels like an SUV more or less. Touching on visibility, I can see perfectly fine out the back as far as my rear view mirror goes, so absolutely no issues there. But that pretty much rounds out the performance segment of this review, you guys. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the exterior of our brand new 2024 Nissan Leaf.
All right, so here she is, you guys, the new 2024 Nissan Leaf, finished in super black, in case you were curious of our exact exterior color name. But as always, let's go ahead and start with where this one is made. Taking a look at the VIN, first character is the number 1, indicating that the Leaf is built and assembled here in the US, at least for US customers. But let's go ahead and start up front. Of course, with being an electric car, it does not need a front grille, so there is no front grille. But if you get up close, there's actually a cool little geometric shaped design to that kind of, it's kind of like hidden within the, I guess you can call it a front grille, whatever you want to call it, but it's a pretty cool design though. I did want to emphasize that because it's unlike anything that you typically see out on the road. But anyways, the charging port is located just above the Nissan logo, so I'll throw in some B-roll right now to show you guys that. So that's where that's located. Halogen headlights do come standard on the S trim level, but for our SV Plus that we have today, you will get LED headlights with LED daytime running lights, so there is added illumination at night for the SV Plus trim level. Automatic feature does come standard with both trim levels, so when it starts to get dark at night, the headlights will turn on automatically for you there. Automatic high beams though, also standard of both trim levels, so if you have your high beams on at night and the sense of the vehicle coming in the opposite direction, it's going to automatically dim them back to low beams. Then when that vehicle is gone, it's going to automatically bounce it back up to high beams for you, so very convenient feature there. And if you were to go with the SV Plus that we have today, you guys can see down below, we are also looking at fog lights. So if you wanted that added illumination down below, go with the SV Plus trim level. But that pretty much rounds out the front end. Let's now go ahead and make our way to the side of the Leaf. And so we're now making our way to this side of this one. Black window surrounds will come standard. You got that floating roof line towards the back. Not as evident with the black exterior, but there is a floating roof line on that C-pillar separating the roof from the rest of the body. Trim door handles do come standard of both trim levels of the Leaf. Then take a look at the side mirrors. They are body colored, power adjustable, and they will be heated only if you go with the SV Plus trim level. So wanted to emphasize that yet again. Take a look down at the wheel setup. Of course, they're going to differ amongst the trims. 16-inch steel wheels with covers coming with the S trim level, but then 17-inch aluminum alloys finished in kind of a silver black color combination with the SV Plus trim level. So that is what you guys are looking at right now. But again, that pretty much rounds out the side profile. Let's now go ahead and make our way to the back. All right, so now since we are around to the back of this one, all the way to the top, you will find a body-colored shark fin antenna. Just below that, rear spoiler with an integrated brake light. Just below that, rear window wiper. There, of course, is some trim level badging found on that rear lift gate. You guys can see that SV Plus trim badging, but surprisingly, there's a pretty cool looking rear diffuser down below as well. So I did want to show you guys that. And of course, since this is an EV, there is no exhaust outlets underneath, so we won't be doing an exhaust clip. So having said that, let's just go ahead and make our way to the interior of the Leaf. All right, so but now since we are around to the back of this one, it is going to be a manual lift gate for both trim levels of the Leaf. But once opened up, cargo capacity comes in at 23.6 cubic feet. If that was not enough space, of course, there is a 60-40 split, meaning the rear seats do fold down for quite a bit of extra space in if you needed it. There is some cargo lighting back there. It is halogen bulbs. There is a cargo cover that is going to be available for the Leaf, and there, of course, is that hook to actually hang the charging cables, which, of course, does come standard with the Leaf, so you can plug it in. But then make our way up to the rear legroom. That comes in at 33.5 inches. For reference, I'm even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I have back there. In terms of cup holders, they are available. They're going to be found on the floor, though, along with a little bit of extra storage there. There is no rear ventilation, but there is dual rear USB charging ports, so I did like seeing those, although would have loved to have seen some rear vents back there. But then make our way up to the front seats. Manually adjustable cloth seating for the S trim level. 8-way power driver's seat with 2-way power lumbar for the SV trim level. And let me tell you guys, the power lumbar is insanely adjustable. Very adjustable power lumbar, so I liked that. And because of that, seating was plenty comfortable. And by the way, heated seats do come standard on the SV trim level and up. But yeah, no issues in my short little test drive today when it comes to seat comfort. Then take a look at the steering wheel. This is pretty cool, actually. Tilt and telescoping, of course. It is going to be leather wrapped for the SV trim level with some nice blue contrast stitching. So I liked seeing that. There is a heated steering wheel actually for the SV trim level. So also loved seeing that. And I kind of like the flat bottom design, a little bit sportier of a design to it. So that was pretty cool too. All right, so but now let's go ahead and make our way to the startup. Let me start by showing you guys the key. Essentially, all of your buttons are located on one side of the key. You got your Nissan logo on the top, lock, unlock, and that button to unlock the charging kind of cover as well, so you could charge this thing up. But it is all keyless entry with a push button start, so all I'm going to do here is simply put my foot on the brake and press that engine start button located kind of just in front of of the shifter. And speaking of the shifter, to actually put it in drive, since this is a little bit different, slide the shifter to the left and to the back. To put it in reverse, left and forward. Neutral is straight to the left, and then park, you just simply press down on the P button, in case anybody's curious about that. But anyways, once started up, you're going to find a 7-inch digital cluster on the left, and then a analog speedometer found on the right. And so on the left side, it's going to tell you things like outside temperature, the time of the day, trip A, trip B, of course, and how many miles of range you have left as well. But of course, our steering wheel mounted controls found on the left side of the steering wheel. You can completely adjust what is on that digital screen. So that's the best part about digital gauges. There's so much customization really available with it. So I have no problem with the gauges personally. Then make our way to overall interior quality. You're going to find an overhead sunglass holder. That does come standard, by the way. Automatic climate control, also coming standard for both trim levels. You're going to get an auto dimming rear view mirror. And overall, in terms of interior quality, there is some hard touch plastics, I will say that, but it's not too bad. I personally don't mind it. Just in front of the shifter, you got a good bit of rubberized storage, so you can put yourself in there. You got an eco drive button. You also have that one pedal drive mode as well. Electromechanical parking brake behind the shifter, along with a couple cup holders. And within the center armrest, a teeny bit of storage, not a ton, but it'll get the job done. And I do like the blue contrast stitching that is found throughout the interior. It definitely ties everything together quite well, especially considering you got this bright blue accent on the shifter here as well. But now let's go ahead and make our way to the infotainment screen here. 8-inch color touchscreen display for both trim levels, Bluetooth and audio streaming, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, factory navigation system coming with the SV trim level. So I wanted to show that to you guys, of course, but also you can check out your radio information, of course. So when it comes to the sound systems, there are 2 of them dependent upon the trim that you go with. You got 4 speakers coming standard with the S trim level, and then 6 speakers for the SV. So having said that, I do believe you guys know what we have to do next. Let's go ahead and turn on the radio, see what we got playing today, and let's test out the clarity of this one. Yeah, it sounds like 6 speakers. I mean, not the very best sound system out there, but 4 and 6 speaker sound systems, you shouldn't expect them to be all that great. So I don't know, it'll get the job done, but it's nothing crazy. But last thing I wanted to mention to you guys on the infotainment screen, of course, is when you do put the Leaf in reverse, it will kind of make this chiming noise because it's an electric vehicle and it wants to warn people that you are backing up. But there is a rear view camera and a 360-degree monitor for the SV trim level only there to the right, which as always is going to lead us into safety. And so to start, front side curtain airbags do come standard, driver and passenger knee airbags as well. In the back, you're going to have latch, aka lower anchors to tethers for children for the rear car seats, rear child door locks, tire pressure monitoring system, but also coming standard, actually a good bit. Automatic emergency braking with pedestrian detection, forward collision warning, intelligent lane intervention, a blind spot monitoring system with rear cross traffic alert. Yeah, that comes standard. Rear automatic braking and intelligent trace control then as well. So overall, when it comes to my final thoughts here of the Leaf, this is the least expensive EV out there right now. Decent acceleration as well because it's an electric vehicle and a relatively small one at that. So it's pretty darn quick, actually, surprisingly. I love the one pedal drive as well. It kind of reminds me of like driving a go-kart, and actually it's going to save you a good bit of money, like I was saying as well. So you don't have to pay money for brake pads and resurfacing rotors and things like that. So I like that feature. As far as room for improvement goes, it is a little bit less range than the competition, but it's also less price than the competition as well. So you got to take that into consideration. Would have loved to have seen some nice blue ambient lighting to kind of match up with all these blue interior accents that we have on this one. And of course, the sound system is pretty darn basic. Even though we had the better sound system, it's still pretty darn basic with only 6 speakers. But anyways, let me know what you guys think of the Leaf. Let me know if you're going to be picking one up before Nissan completely ends the production of this one. And that is about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to follow me on social media at the bottom of the screen if you want to see what's coming next on the channel before it gets to YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe and the bell notification button if you're into new car reviews, because that is what we do here on this channel after all. Do appreciate you guys watching more than you know, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Stay gold.